Hi there, welcome to this week's episode of Spirit Coffee Talk, where myself, Lisa Richmond, and my fellow ladies, Elyse and Ginette dig in to talk everything spirit. So every Friday we meet. This week was particularly unique as we didn't just visit, which is always beautiful, but each of us kind of contributed our own little gifts. And so you'll tune in to hear Ginette channel from her 3 guides of the light and has just a beautiful message. I pull some cards for the collective, and then Elyse finishes with one of the most heartfelt, amazing meditations. So you definitely don't want to miss this week, and I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe and share to anyone who you might think might enjoy this. Thanks so much, guys. Enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome to Spirit Coffee Talk. My name is Lisa Richmond, and I have Ginette and Elyse here from Avalon Spirit, and we meet every Friday to talk all things spirit, what's going on, and have some coffee. So welcome everybody to this week's Spirit Coffee Talk.
Right. I love that we are all wearing black. It wasn't planned.
It actually wasn't.
But I think it reflects the state of chaos and intensity and heaviness happening in the world right now. But I think we honor it, right? We can honor the dark and still hold light. And so part of our idea for the show today was to, instead of whirling around in 3D, right? Because 3D is pretty dark and chaotic right now. We figured we would dive into our gifts and dive into the woo that was given to us through Lisa from Spirit. They said, dive into your light, shine your light, and be there today. And so that's what we're going to do. So I will do a little bit of channeling for you guys. Lisa's going to pull some cards from Spirit, and Elyse is going to lead us through meditation so that you guys can all connect into your higher self, to ground yourself in your higher self, grounding into these higher chakras and energies. So before we get started, does anybody else have anything they want to say?
Not yet. Okay. You got it.
Dive right in.
Let's dive in. Let's do this.
All right, so I'm going to start off channeling. Now, for those of you that have never seen channeling before, there's nothing scary about the idea of channeling. There's long been this idea that channeling is like being possessed or some spirit takes over the channeler's body. That's not the case, especially for me, and I will speak only of my own experience with it. All I'm doing is it's like mediumship plus more. So in a mediumship reading, I tune into the higher frequencies, and I'm basically talking to the spirit and then talking to the person, the sitter, the person having the reading. And I go back and forth, being that middle person in between. The only difference with channeling is I kind of step back a bit more from being the middle person going this way and allow spirit to really merge with my energy and come straight through me. So it's less of me interpreting what they're saying to then explain it to somebody. It's just them speaking straight through. And this is something that took many years for it to be able to come through in this way. And there's nothing scary. My voice won't change. My head won't spin, and I won't levitate, although that would be very, very cool.
I'm working on that one. Don't make any promises.
I know, I'm working on the levitating thing. The only thing that may seem a little bit different is the cadence of my voice might change. I have my way of speaking. Sometimes the cadence changes or the tone a little bit, but it's still my voice. It's just me stepping back a little bit to allow the guides of the higher realms to come through with whatever message it is. And I don't know what that message is until we start. So there's my little info thing. I don't know how long it'll be, but it'll be whatever they wish to share. So I'm going to sit here for probably about 30 seconds to a minute. You guys can take the time, if you're watching this, to just relax your bodies, relax your mind, open your heart as you do that. And as I take that time, I'm just going to kind of shift out a little bit behind to bring through whoever's coming through, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Ginette.
We are the three guides of the light. We've been coming through to channel messages for you all on Earth since COVID began. We come through as well with the Rainbow Council of Light. The reason for this is we are bringing light consciousness to you all to tune into. Light has many ways that it can show itself, from sunrise to sunset to rainbow colors. Every light color has a frequency that can help you ascend and grow, can also help you ground and find peace within. However it is that you view light, let that be a reflection of us. We are with you now, speaking as one consciousness. We come from the higher dimensional levels. This may not make sense to you, but we are around all the time. But we are in a space that you cannot see. Just as bees on your planet can see ultraviolet, but you cannot, it is still there. This is how we are with you always, but you just can't see. The closest way for you to see us, though, is through light. We understand many humans have been toiling on this planet, moving through the ebbs and flows of the darkness that permeates. We understand that this is hard. We understand that this is draining. We have been doing our best to bring you support energetically and sometimes through words. COVID, as an example, has been an experience for you all to turn inwards. This is but one example. There are many more, as you can see, that are unfolding on your planet. You have not been forgotten. Your plight has not been forgotten. And your growth is continually being supported. We believe so much in your abilities to grow and evolve on your planet. We, along with many other light beings and consciousness levels, have stepped in to help support you all. Our support comes in ways that may not make sense to you, or you may not be aware of, but it is there. It is there in the same way that the wind is always moving, even if it is a gentle breeze. There are times you can feel the wind like a storm, therefore you know it is real. But there are times when the wind is so gentle it moves but a blade of grass, but it is always there. That is how we are with you, whirling around all the time. We ask that you step into this higher consciousness of light energy. Step in and view the world from a higher perspective. Right now, where you are, being in 3D is a burden. No matter how you look at it from 3D, it is a burden. When you bring your perspective up to the higher realms, you can see that these are opportunities for growth and change. You're reminded that much of this was brought to the surface so that it could be known. When something is known and identified, then it can be changed. It may not be your responsibility to make these specific changes, but you have an ability to hold the light, to be a loving human, to lend a hand, to give compassion, and to give safe space to those around you. You also have the same ability to give all of these things to you. You have the ability to be your safe space. This is something many people have forgotten and become disconnected from, but this is yours. This is what we hope to bring you with every sunrise and every sunset, remembering that day comes again and again and again. Some days are harder than others, but other days can bring bounty and auspicious opportunities for growth, love, joy, and happiness. Again, we see the plight on your planet, but we are deeply involved in helping you move through this. Allow the evolution to take place. and continually choose your course of action for what is in your highest alignment. We are with you always.
That was beautiful. Thank you to the three guides of light for coming through.
Yeah, that was really quite cool that they came through. Just to give you guys a visual, they came through as they normally do, but they were like a little closer than normal. But then all around them was this beautiful like rainbow, was the rainbow council of light, but like they were like this big circle energy. Like if you could picture yourself standing in the middle of a circular rainbow around you, not just in the sky like an arc, but around you, it was like that. And that was really neat.
Oh, I could feel that. Wow, like the warmth and
Yeah.
love I could feel from that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for bringing that through. What a beautiful message.
Yeah. It's lovely.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah. How's your heart?
Oh, really full. It always gets really full when I bring them through like that. It's like, again, the difference with mediumship is when you have a really good conversation with somebody, and then channeling is like when you have like a deep snuggle with
Mm.
someone. You know how it's like even more, or like you snuggle
Mm.
a child, or they like just like nuzzle up right in you. It's like that kind of warmth. So both are really good. But I find the channeling, because I let it go through me more,
You
I feel it in my
embody
heart
that
space.
frequency, right? Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. What do the cards say?
Okay, well, let's pull some cards. So, okay, so I have this deck. I'm going to use the Starseed Oracle today. The woman that does it, her name is Rebecca Campbell, and artwork done by Danielle Noel. And these cards are beautiful. Um, Absolutely beautiful. So, for people who don't know, Oracle cards are a little bit different than tarot cards. Um, Tarot cards kind of have the same cards in every deck, kind of just a little bit differentiated, and they're more. You can kind of interpret the cards that kind of have the same meaning, and you can use them for timelines and stuff. Whereas Oracle cards, every deck is different, and you can really get specifics with it and get direct messages with spirit and goddesses and whichever deck you really tune into. So they're always different. I have both, but I tend to use Oracle a little bit more. So this Starseed Oracle I love because it helps with guidance for myself, and when I use them for individuals on connecting with that light that was brought through from the three guides of the light, just that same light frequency that they were talking about. That's really kind of how I relate to this deck, and how it can help you to connect, or understanding how to connect, I guess, with that light. So this is a really beautiful connection because I had already chosen to use them. So no mistakes. Okay, so I'm going to pull. I'll be guided. I'll let you know. Okay, so the first card that they want to show you is a card pertaining to the collective. So this one is called The Weight of the World. Boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. So essentially, for the message for the collective is the weight of this frequency, the weight of what's happening on the world. We are carrying it on our shoulders as individuals. So how to connect with this light that the three guides of the light we're talking about is try to I'm getting this like huge opening in awareness right now, is that the boundaries we can make is actually the boundaries for the consciousness on the 3D level of our earth right now. So every individual can actually make an energetic boundary of light around themselves so that they don't embody and take on the heaviness of the world. Now, that doesn't mean that we dig our head into the sand and not realize what's going on, but allowing us to not take on the hurt energy into our own light bodies, into our own physical bodies, because by doing that, we're creating pain and suffering and actual sickness in our physical bodies. So we can bring light to our earth and our consciousness without taking on the weight. So practice doing a morning routine of washing away any heaviness that we've maybe carried from the day before, or and then put an intention to have light around our bodies and ourselves in order to not literally take on the heavy frequency. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, the second one they want talks about individual and collective action steps. Okay. So again, the two cards that they pulled out, this is individual action steps and what we can do as a collective, but individually first. So empathic starseed is the first one, and they're talking about energetic sovereignty and absorbing what's not yours. Again, they're so obviously not taking on the weight of what is. So like watching the news, bringing it all in, and then just boom, putting it on your shoulders. They're saying like having your energetic sovereignty, taking control of your energetic being, and then don't absorb what isn't yours, what isn't your frequency. Okay, and that can be when they say an individual basis. This is globally, but this is like what's around us. So if we're in a situation where we're around people and all of a sudden we can feel that frequency and that energy isn't yours, and it's starting to feel kind of yucky, especially if we really have empathic abilities where we can feel what's happening in the room. They're saying it's okay to step away. It's okay to come back and create your energetic sovereignty. It's not only just okay, it's really important we do that so we can step away from any pain. And then this one's beautiful, and this is where they're going to leave you. Okay, this is going to be the last card. They said activated earth. Now this is a beautiful card because it says power places, ley lines, and trust where you're led. And so they're really talking about how our earth right now is actually going through, physically the earth part is going through big transitions, the fires, like there's chaos, but there's also these beautiful when they say ley lines, it's almost like these places on earth that hold a really high frequency. And it doesn't matter where you are on the planet right now, where you're watching this, you can go and be led into places that you can almost like plug your energy and take your shoes off, or you can sit and you can absorb Earth's healing frequencies. And so they're encouraging you to go out and be led, and that you don't need to ask anybody where this might be or permission, because it's different to each and every energetic frequency. So like bring back your sovereignty within your energetic frequency, release what's not yours, and then trust and go find that place outside. It's really important that it's outside and specifically in the light. Now it can be in the light of the moon, right? We're going to have a full moon pretty soon, but they're saying there are these pockets, these places that you can go and energetically recharge, because Mother Earth is saying, I'm readily available to give you this recharge. So recharging not through your phone or devices, recharging through these places that you can find. And they're saying they're there, and they're there for every person. So it can be in your backyard for one, it could be by a lake, it could be by a tree or in a rock garden, wherever it is, you'll know there's no wrong answer. And then you can go and recharge. And that's really important because Earth is offering that to us as humanity. So thank you to the guides that helped me with this and to this beautiful oracle deck. So do you have any questions or anything, ladies, through this?
I think that was great. That was so, that felt very much in alignment. All of them felt like super in alignment. I got nothing else. That was great.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, they're just saying specifically that, like, if you want more specifics, this is with direction on connecting with the light.
Hmm.
So all those are specific with connecting with this light.
Great. Love it.
Cool.
Nice.
You want to leave us with a meditation?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So right before we got started, after we decided we were going to do this, I hadn't planned anything. There was a couple like points that I made that kind of came through. And then I was like, I'll just like channel whatever comes through, similar to what Ginette did for a meditation. So that'll be me likely connecting to my own spirit self, and then any of my guides or guides that come through. But the points that I had already written down have been very much in line with what we've talked about. So I love that.
Good.
And can you guys hear me okay? I had to change my audio setting because there's some background noise. So, okay. Can you hear the background noise?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. It like started downpouring as Ginette was channeling, like,
really?
And then like, oh my gosh, it's like, I have, you know, it's not been as dry for Alberta as it has been for you guys, but it's still been pretty dry. And it like was downpouring as Ginette was channeling. So love that. Okay, so I think what we're going to focus on, and again, kind of the direct words, I'm just going to channel whatever comes through, but the real theme seems to be, it's going to be almost a bit of an embodiment practice. So the understanding that I'm getting is that the fear energies, the 3D stuff that's going on in the world has been a lot, and it's getting to a place where a lot of us are having a hard time, as Lisa, you were saying, not taking it on, and kind of forgetting that sovereignty in our own energy, and forgetting and just being so overcome with everything that's going on that it's like it's hard to connect back into that grounded sense of self, be it your spirit self, be it, you know, your own emotional, like human embodiment. We're having a challenge with that. So that's really the route that we're going to go. I will say there's going to be a time where we tap into some of that fear energy to feel it in the body and then transfer over into our strength, right? And so if that feels overwhelming for anybody that's watching or for either of you, we're going to go through a practice and I'll kind of remind that we can disconnect from it, and I'll encourage that. But even as I'm talking about it, I can feel my own body being like, oh, I don't want to go there. Like, we're just shaking that off. So just to say, if you're having any resistance to it, listen to your own body. If you need to come out, do, but know that I'm not going to keep you there. We're going to resource ourselves and really ground. So okay, all that to say. Okay. So I'll encourage you, if you feel comfortable, you can close the eyes. If that doesn't feel available to you today, or you're feeling really kind of amped up or wound up, you don't have to close the eyes, but just find a fixed point, ideally lowering the gaze, and just kind of telling the body to tune inward. Yeah, so just finding ourselves in our bodies, in the spaces that we're in right now, wherever you are watching this video. Taking a few breaths to note connection with the body. As you're moving through your inhales and exhales, we're not forcing, it's just the natural breath. And just noticing any sensations that are arising in the body. Noticing how the back of the body is supported, maybe by a chair or a couch. Maybe you're seated on the floor. Just noticing that feeling of support of the back body. Maybe it elicits a sensation of feeling held. From this space, we're going to start to deepen the breath. We're going to envision a bright golden light coming down from the cosmos. And as that golden bright light moves towards you, it enters in through the crown of the head, moving down past the third eye, slowly making its way through the throat chakra, and down into the heart. We're going to pause here in the heart space for a few breaths, allowing that light to settle in. Allowing that light to transmute anything heavy on the heart right now. Could be things happening in the world. It could be things happening personally for you. Whatever that is, just allowing that golden light to cleanse and clear and hold some space for you. When you feel ready, allowing that golden light to continue moving through the body, from the heart down into the solar plexus. Continuing down through the sacral chakra. Lastly, moving to our root. And then letting that white golden light move through the body, down through the legs. And as it exits the body, it moves down into the earth. Deep through the grass, the dirt, the rock. Moving into Gaia. Energizing and clearing her just as it was for our physical selves. And eventually that golden light finds a rock or a crystal. Maybe it moves all the way down to the core of the earth, wherever feels like a safe and grounded place to wrap and anchor itself into Gaia. Allowing it to wrap around whatever object it's found a few times before starting to move back up to the body. And as we bring our awareness back to our bodies, feeling a sense of groundedness, a connection to the earth, a cosmic support from this golden light. I encourage you to feel that strength, feel that support. And tuning in with your spirit self, within the body, asking the question, how do I want to show up in this world? What do I want to embody? Maybe it is strength, maybe it is love, compassion, kindness. Maybe I want to make change. Whatever your spirit self has to say to you, how do you want to show up in the world? And as that message comes through, I encourage you to embody it. And what that means is letting it settle in to the places in the body that it resonates with. So maybe there's a swelling sensation in the chest. You can feel your shoulders want to broaden and stand tall. Maybe there's a warm, glowing, loving light that's living in your heart space. Tuning into the body and checking in with how this you, this highest version of yourself that wants to show up in the world, what does it feel like in your body to live in that space, to show up in that space, to exist in the world from that space? And allowing that to really settle in. Make note of all of the details that you feel, that you see, that you hear, anything that you sense. And taking a few breaths here. And we're going to allow that embodiment of ourselves to just take a step to the side for just a moment. Maybe it settles into your heart space. Maybe it physically steps to the right or the left. And I want to invite you now to connect in with the fears. And if at any point this feels like too much, trusting that wisdom and connecting back to that grounded, embodied sense of self. But as we connect into that fear, maybe it's worry for what our future holds. Maybe it's sadness around the way that we see division. Maybe it's heartache for those that are suffering in this world right now. Fear of what does Mother Earth and Gaia have in store for us. Just allowing yourself to feel those sensations. Remembering that you're safe in this moment, that you're held. And making note of those fear sensations, those sadness sensations, hopelessness, whatever it is that's heavy on your heart, that's heavy in your consciousness. Noting in your body, what does that feel like? Maybe it feels like tension somewhere. Maybe there's a tingling sensation or a fluttering feeling. Allowing yourself to be present with those sensations. And if you find yourself telling stories in the mind or popping back up into the brain, trying to analyze it, thank your brain, and then move back down into that sensation. Like an elevator from the brain into the body. Holding space for those uncomfortable sensations. And from here, I'm going to encourage you to invite that grounded spirit self back in. And the way it shows up for me is I see her taking a step back into my body, into my energy. And I invite you to have that self nourish and hold and support the fear self. So for me, that looks like my spirit self, my grounded embodied self, stepping in and hugging the me that is scared, that is worried for what's to come. It might look differently for you. Whatever that looks like is perfect and exactly what it needs to be. Maybe you sit side by side. Maybe you hold their hand. Maybe you wrap them in golden light. We're not telling them to go away or that they're wrong for what they're feeling or that we should only see the love and light, because it's okay to see the hardships in the world. And we can hold space for ourselves in that place to feel those emotions, feel the entirety of the human experience, and be grounded in ourselves and in our strength Noting any sensations that are arising as you're holding space for that fear self. Maybe there's a dialogue that happens. Maybe the fear self needs to say something or express something, or maybe cry. Allowing that embodied, grounded spirit self to hold them, love them, and let them know they're supported, both by us, by our guides, by the cosmos, by Gaia. And as you're sitting with that self, inviting that golden light to come into that space, wrapping around the two of you, merging you into one, allowing that fear, that sadness, any of those emotions, the space within the embodied, grounded you. We don't want to make our emotions wrong or bad because they're there for a reason. And we can also feel them while being grounded, while being in connection to our highest good, while being connected to that spirit self that knows exactly what you need in this moment. So as you breathe, allowing that golden light to transmute, to support in healing, to support merging the two sides of ourselves. And supporting us and moving forward in our highest good. Here, I'll invite you to take 3 deep breaths. Inhaling deeply through the nose, allowing the belly to rise. And as you inhale, really feeling that merging. It's like a clicking in feeling. And as you exhale, letting go of anything that those two versions of yourself don't want to carry. Moving through that breath again, inhaling deeply through the nose, maybe this time parting the lips, opening the mouth, sighing as you exhale. And on the third breath, as you inhale, bringing in more of that golden light, feeling it swirling around your embodied self that is now merged with that fear self. Swirling around, holding you, transmuting, clearing anything that's not serving you. And as you exhale, breathing all of that out, maybe parting the lips and sighing. And then taking a few moments to thank your embodied self. Thank that embodied self that is available to you at all times, both to hold any of the emotions, any of the hard things that we need to experience and that we are experiencing, while also knowing that you are held. This embodied self allows you to feel sovereign in your own energy and still show up in the world, make change, bring light, do good. And just asking that embodied self where they would like to live in your body. Maybe they take up the entirety of your physical 3D self. Maybe they live in your heart space. Maybe they live in the third eye, wherever feels aligned for them to stay. And remembering that you can come back to that embodied self And you can bring forward any of those sensations, that feeling of strength, that emotional embodiment of being grounded. And you can also listen to this meditation anytime, connecting back in to who you are at your fullest and truest self. Taking a few more deep breaths. Starting to bring some sensation back into the physical body, maybe wiggling fingers, toes, taking any really slow, intuitive movements that you might want to take right now. Maybe that's rounding at the shoulders, pulling the spine up and back, flipping the head, rolling the neck, ever so slowly. And then when you're ready and feel called, you can open your eyes. And you did, Ginette.
That was so beautiful, Elyse. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Ginette,
Wow.
sorry you're muted because I was getting some feedback from you in the middle, so I muted your microphone.
That's funny. I was muted. I didn't hear anything.
I went deep there. Thank you.
Lovely.
That was amazing.
Very beautiful. Wow, yeah. Holy. That was very harmonizing.
Mhm.
It felt very harmonious to take the time to do that. I think that's something I think we forget about with meditations and the various styles, but it's like the time that is taken to harmonize or recalibrate or ground has such overflow impacts like throughout the rest of your day and stuff. Like it doesn't take that long, and yet it can do so much.
Yeah, and I really was getting a sense of there was a need to call forward that this uncomfortable stuff. Like, and I know that's been an experience for me this week of like feeling really heavy and either being like, I want to get rid of it and I don't want to feel this way. And the reminder of it's there for us for a reason, right? If we looked around at, say, the things going on in the world and we're like, indifferent to it, would that be speaking to who we are and what we want to create as a humanity? No, probably not. So it serves, but it's that you want to push it away or you don't want to feel it or you want to disconnect from it. So there was a real encouragement of remembering that you can hold both and really be embodied while still holding space for those emotions and then not trying to will them away or ground them away or meditate them away, but like hold them, let them soften into you and then move on.
I loved that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was really beautiful. Wow.
All right. Well, I think we should leave on that note, that harmonious note.
Absolutely.
Thank you both so much for bringing forward your gifts, your beautiful knowledge, and not only helping me and us through this, but I know that there's a lot of people who are really going to benefit from the love energy that really came forward today, this love and light. So thank you, ladies, for bringing that forward for us.
Thank you for suggesting it and for channeling it, because we were all like, do we do anything today? I don't know.
Oh, was it me?
Well, yeah.
It wasn't me who came up with that.
Yeah, you brought it forward. That's good.
Yeah, that was great.
Awesome. Okay, love and light this week, everybody.
Have a beautiful week.